On a very special episode of Show Me St. Louis, a great escape unlike anything we've been on before.
The Illinois Ozarks in Shawnee National Forest. Join us as we explore this beautiful hiking and rock climbing destination.
It's so uncharacteristic for the state of Illinois. People often think of cornfields and flat lands, and that is not what you will find here in southern Illinois.
You may have heard of Garden of the Gods before, but wait until you see this.
There's lots of good places, but this is the crown jewel.
And if you're an experienced hiker, you'll want to cross Jackson Falls off your list.
Dana, how you feeling?
Feeling great. Let's do this.
Plus, we'll visit an infamous cave that river pirates from the late 1700s used as a hideout. Now, Cave in Rock is in the top 10 most visited parks in the state of Illinois.
And these narrow passageways have wide appeal. You don't want to miss this hike on the Rimrock National Recreation Trail.
You caught Rimrock and it's like perfect time because it's so green and lush.
Good morning to you. We have a special Show Me St. Louis today.
That's right, our great escape to Illinois Ozarks in the Shawnee National Forest. It's located less than 3 hours from downtown St. Louis.
Illinois Ozarks is the nickname for this beautiful hiking and rock climbing destination. We visited the eastern side of the Shawnee National Forest.
And some of you may have grown up in this area and have visited all your life. Others will be finding out about this place for the very first time. Either way, we're sure you're going to learn something today and find a new reason to visit.
That's right, Anthony. So let's take a look at some of the scenic attractions. No flashy lights or bright signs here. The Shawnee National Forest is for nature lovers and adventure seekers. In today's 30-minute special, we'll take you to Garden of the Gods. It's the most visited place in all of this forest. You'll see why. I mean, check out the views. It's just a quarter-mile hike, and it's paved.
Another spot worthy of your time is Jackson Falls. Quite a bit different from Garden of the Gods. No paved trails here. It's more rugged, but still manageable. This hike is for the adventurous type, and you'll come across something known as the Keyhole, along with a fallen boulder known as Yosemite Slab. But don't forget about the main waterfall.
So beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then we'll head over to Rimrock National Recreation Trail. It is a scenic trail around the rim of a rock, and it is breathtaking. There's an upper and a lower trail to enjoy.
And if that's not enough to make you want to jump in your car and visit, then how about this? Other natural wonders in the Shawnee National Forest include Arch of the Gods. You can see how the formation got its name. There's also Starry Rock. It's called Starry Rock because the bands in it look like Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night painting. You'll also find Anvil Rock, shaped like an anvil. But don't worry, it won't fall. More on all these places and more in our 30-minute Great Escape to Illinois Ozarks and the Shawnee National Forest.
Garden of the Gods is the perfect starting place for your trip and is the most popular place in the Shawnee National Forest.
Garden of the Gods is a special place where you can take in a hike, the sights, and a sunset. The most photographed spot is located above the treetops.
This is the #1 spot that they want to come to, they want to see, they want to walk out on the trail, see the vistas from the rocks, and enjoy the view that the Garden of the Gods affords.
To get there, you'll take a looped trail through the Shawnee National Forest. Make your way through some rock formations, and that's when you'll start to see some spectacular attractions that money can't buy.
The Lysengang bands that's in the rock is like otherworldly. It's like it's from another planet. The iron deposits in the sandstone make real neat banding in the rock that is just so unique, and you don't see that anywhere else.
Then you'll make your way to Camel Rock. Can you see the camel's head and hump?
Camel Rock, which most everyone knows, it was featured on the America the Beautiful Quarter series. It represented Illinois on the back of the Illinois quarter.
Garden of the Gods looks the way it does because it's the remnants of an ancient sea.
Mostly what you see when you come down here is a lot of sandstone, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's stone made out of sand.
320 million years ago, a shallow sea covered this area.
The rest of Illinois has been glaciated. This part south of Highway 13, basically it has never been glaciated, meaning the glaciers never got this far. So it's always a lot more rugged and rough relief than the rest of Illinois is.
Garden of the Gods shows off the unique features of the Shawnee National Forest.
amazing views, one of the most popular places on the National Forest here.
The Garden of the Gods Observation Trail is just a quarter-mile walk, but there are other trails in the area.
This area has trails for all types of people. People looking for just an hour walk to, multi-day hikes and backpacking.
Garden of the Gods, where it feels a little closer to heaven.
It's so uncharacteristic for the state of Illinois. People often think of cornfields and flat lands, and that is not what you will find here in southern Illinois.
I mean, it's just amazing. Here are some more places to visit in Garden of the Gods. We kind of tease these at the top of the show, but we're going to show them to you again because they're just incredible. All of these are no more than a quarter-mile hike and fairly close to the observation trail you saw. On your hike, you'll find a natural arch called Arch of the Gods, and get your camera ready for Starry Rock. As Anthony had mentioned earlier, the bands in it look like Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night painting, which is how it got its name. And that's Anvil Rock. I mean, it really does look like an anvil. I love all these names, and these are all located at Garden of the Gods. It was my first time there, Anthony. Again, less than 3 hours from St. Louis.
That was
and
beautiful.
I mean, just looking at this video again, I'm in awe. Seeing it again, I was there.
Well, even hear about the glaciers, I'm like, well, I did not know that.
I know.
Because I know some parts of Missouri were glaciated, and you kind of see that driving towards Columbia with the hills there, but I had no idea about the Illinois side.
This is the state of Illinois you are looking at here. So when you go to Garden of the Gods, I mean, if you're going to bring your little ones, I would hold on tight to their hands. Yeah, but they do recommend stay on the trail. But beautiful picture taken.
Oh, and the video is incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, our videographers, Gene Veman and Kenny Koger, worked their tails off for that video.
Well,
they did a lot of hiking with camera gear in tow. Wow. Now, coming up on our Great Escape, if you consider yourself to be adventurous, and stick around because we'll visit one of the best climbing areas in southern Illinois. We'll take you to a place called the crown jewel of rock climbing.
All right. And we'll visit a natural arch you can climb up and walk across. All that and more when our Great Escape to Illinois Ozarks in the Shawnee National Forest continues.
The observation trail is paved at Garden of the Gods, but the next place we're taking you to is more for the adventurous hiker. If that's you, then add Jackson Falls to your list of places to check out. It's about 30 minutes west of Garden of the Gods, and so worth the visit.
Hey Dane, how you feeling?
Feeling great. Let's do this.
Not being an experienced hiker, I didn't know what to expect when we arrived at Jackson Falls, which is on the eastern side of the Shawnee National Forest in southern Illinois.
Not too bad, not too bad.
Boy, was I in for a treat.
This is a special place. Lots of people like to hike and horseback ride, and it's one of the best climbing areas in southern Illinois.
With the president of the Illinois Climbers Association as our tour guide, we were in good hands. It didn't take long to come across the first scenic point on the trail.
When you walk down into the canyon, there's a scramble down some rocks, and some people call the keyhole a rock archway that you walk through to enter the canyon.
Not too far from the keyhole is another one of Mother Nature's gems, a giant boulder that some brave visitors used to climb the crack down the middle.
There's freestanding rock towers all through Jackson Falls, and one of the first ones you come to is called Yosemite Slab.
And of course, the waterfalls are stunning this time of year.
This is kind of the namesake Jackson Falls main waterfall here. There are also 2 or 3 other ones throughout the canyon of varying heights and water volume.
There are 3.7 miles of trails that can be rugged at times.
The trails go and connect with about 300 other miles of trails in the Shawnee National Forest, so you can make whatever adventure suits you.
When it comes to rock climbing, this is the place to be.
There's lots of good places, but this is the crown jewel.
Which is why so many people take a road trip here.
We get people here that come down every weekend to climb at Jackson Falls from the St. Louis area, from Champaign, from Chicago. Anywhere in about a 6-hour radius for climbing, people come to Jackson Falls because it's such a good spot for rock climbing.
Considering this is one of the best climbing areas in the whole state, I had to give it a try.
Is this the beginner's route?
This is a beginner's route that was close to the cars.
With climbing shoes, a harness, and the president of the Illinois Climbers Association as my coach, I had nowhere to go but up.
Think about how you climb a ladder, right? You don't do pull-ups the whole way up a ladder, right? You just walk up it with your feet. So these climbing shoes kind of just make it so that you can take any ripple in the rock and stand on it.
I slowly worked my way up the rock, about 10 feet. For someone a little scared of heights, it felt a lot higher than that.
How was it?
I made it.
Now we gotta say your Aussie time.
I'm proud of myself. It probably didn't look that impressive, but that was hard. Thank you.
You did a great job.
A hiker's and climber's paradise, Jackson Falls. All of this beauty just 3 hours from St. Louis.
Jackson Falls is an amazing place, and we welcome everyone to come check it out.
What do you think, Anthony?
First of all, you're brave.
Thank you.
Second of all, I love waterfalls, so this is right up my alley.
Oh,
I gotta see that.
It is a special place, you know, and rock climbing was a really big deal for me because in 5th grade, I went on this Girl Scout trip to Joshua Tree in California. I'm from California, and I got stuck like on the side of the rock.
Did you have a harness?
I did, but I mean, when I say stuck, I was so scared.
Oh, like paralyzed.
It was out of
in
fear, paralyzed out of fear, and so people had to help me get down, and it's just stuck with me, and that's when I realized my fear of heights. So doing this, I was sweating bullets.
Overcame your fear.
But this guy who helped me, he was so encouraging and patient. He's like, don't worry about the camera right now. Don't worry about the video camera. Like,
I would need him there with me if I were to
I
do
know.
that
So
too.
it was.
Wow.
I'm just so proud of myself.
Good.
It was an amazing experience.
Yeah. All right. Well, as you can tell from our great escape to the Illinois Ozarks, there are so many scenic places to visit. It's an area full of natural beauty and rich in history. This is called the Iron Furnace, and it is on the National Register of Historic Places. It was constructed in 1839. It was the first charcoal-fired iron furnace in Illinois. A large village was created around the furnace. It was a thriving community that employed a lot of people and had a big impact on the industry of the area. Other than a history lesson, another reason to visit the iron furnace is so they can enjoy the secluded valley. While you're there, feel free to picnic, hike, and swim in an area known as an old swimming hole.
Beautiful. Next up, Bell Smith Springs. It's a recreation area of the Shawnee National Forest. It's on the western edge of Illinois Ozarks and is near Jackson Falls and Burden Falls. Hiking there is moderate because most of the trails are far below the parking lot. There are some stairs that are 2.5 to 3 stories tall to get in and out of the area, but it's worth the hike with all the natural beauty, including waterfalls and a natural arch you can climb up to and walk across. It has around 8 miles of trails, a creek that has a lot of swimming holes. A rock formation called Devil's Backbone is one of the highlights.
Wow. And not too far from there is another destination called Sand Cave. It's a nice short trail, about 1.5 miles from the road, and it's fairly flat. Once you arrive, you'll find a cave that is said to have been part of the Underground Railroad. It's a shallow cave, perfect for exploring without the need of a flashlight.
Now, south of there is the Lake Glendale Recreation Area. It's a state park that offers fishing, boating, camping, and hiking, surrounded by tall pine trees and a mixed hardwood forest. You'll also find some mountain bike trails. We've covered a whole lot of ground so far on our trip to the Illinois Ozarks, but we're not done yet. Right, Anthony?
No, so Lusk Creek is another neat spot to visit. It's a large wilderness area centered on a creek, and there's new kayak launch area to enjoy the white water. Wow, I like this. So there are lots of hiking areas. The most popular is called Indian Kitchen.
There are plenty of places to spend the night if you visit Illinois Ozarks and the Shawnee National Forest. The cabins have a lot of amenities and all the comforts of home, spacious living areas. There's lofts, beautiful decks. Most of the cabins have themes. There's the Doghouse, Twin Oaks, Sassafras Ridge, to name a few, but it doesn't stop there. Maple Oak Cabin is an actual treehouse, you guys.
I was thinking that it looked like.
Oh my gosh! Needless
Wow.
to say, you will be very pleased with your accommodations. No kidding.
That was a decked out treehouse.
Yeah.
Well, you can find more about all of these amazing places we have mentioned so far at IllinoisOzarks.com. It's a great website to show you everything to do along with lodging options. Again, the website is IllinoisOzarks.com.
Coming up after the break, we'll visit a larger-than-life tourist attraction, a 55-foot wide cave carved out of the limestone rock by water thousands of years ago.
Plus, This place often goes overlooked by tourists, but not by our camera crew. Stick around, Show Me St. Louis. We'll be right back.
There's an infamous cave in the area that river pirates from the late 1700s once used as a hideout. Now, Cave in Rock is in the top 10 of most visited parks in the state of Illinois.
Welcome to beautiful Cave in Rock State Park in beautiful Hardin County on the edge of the Shawnee National Forest. Cave in Rock State Park is one of the top 10 visited parks in the state of Illinois, with an average of 250,000 people visit this little part of southern Illinois. The park was first established in 1929. It has grown, doubled in size over the years. It's now, I believe, 220 acres. Hiking trails, picnic area, campground, have a beautiful campground here in the park. We have the infamous cave, which were known for the original pirates, river pirates, back in the late 1700s. The Ohio River was, in the late 1700s, was considered the gateway to the west. Our Cave in Rock Ferry is the last remaining ferry on the Ohio River. It runs 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We have 4 duplex cabins that, as you can see, set on the bluff. They're seasonal. They run from March through November each year. We're standing on the deck of one of our cabins that overlook the Ohio River, and you can see over my shoulder the awesome view. And on nights of a full moon, the moon rises right above the river at the bend, and it's just an awesome sight. With Cave in Rock State Park being in such a rural area, and it being one of the top 10 most visited parks in the state of Illinois, is its own claim to fame. This is our hidden gem, and a lot of people discover this by accident. We hear that all the time, people that just happen upon this place, and of course most of them fall in love with it, and they come back.
Up next, this lush green scenery often gets missed by visitors, but we made sure to take the road less traveled to bring you this footage. We'll be right back. One of the things people often overlook when they come to the Shawnee National Forest is a place called Rimrock, so we want to make sure it's on your list of things to do.
Just down the road from Garden of the Gods is Rimrock Recreational Trail, a place you don't want to miss on your trip to southeastern Illinois.
Rimrock is a unique site because the ecology of the landscape is different on top of the bluff versus what you see at the bottom of the bluff.
Start hiking down the Rimrock Trail and you'll make your way through some native hardwoods. It's beautiful, but the best is yet to come.
When you walk that trail, you're walking through a forest canopy, and then at the back of the trail there is a boardwalk that you go on and a set of steps that go down into the canyon below.
Take in the lush green scenery, but be mindful where you are walking. While the trail is considered easy to moderate, you'll have to take a narrow passageway to get to the bottom.
It's a very unique area and one that people don't need to miss, but they often do.
The trail will eventually lead you around the rim of a rock escarpment, and that's where you'll take in some unique natural features. Now you see why people make the trip out to the eastern side of the Shawnee National Forest. This huge rock shelter bluff is known as Oxlot Cave, even though it doesn't look like a typical cave.
The stories come down that was used as a cattle enclosure for people that were hauling timber out of that particular area during the 19th century, back in the 1850s, 1860s.
Late spring is a great time of year to visit Rimrock for a hiking adventure you won't forget.
You caught Rimrock and it's like perfect time because it's so green and lush.
Leave some time to explore this place and take in all of the beauty that Rimrock has to offer, because it is sure to be one of the highlights of your visit.
You're probably wondering what you should bring. Well, they recommend tick spray, hiking boots, GPS, a four-wheel drive vehicle just to get to some areas, layers of clothing, water, and snacks.
Just a reminder, you can find out about all of these amazing places we have mentioned so far on this website, IllinoisOzarks.com. It's a great website to show you everything to do along with those lodging options. Again, the website, IllinoisOzarks.com.
Hard to say what my favorite place was.
That's what I was wondering.
I would say Jackson Falls.
Yeah.
Just because it was so adventurous.
Well, when I saw that, I love the waterfalls, so I would, but you know, Rimrock looks like it'd be fun in the fall.
Yeah.
With all the beautiful
and
colors.
Garden of the Gods. Every place is beautiful. Have a great visit.
Check it out now.
If you guys go there, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.
Adventurous.